We may love who we love, but when the time comes to choose between yourself and the one you love, who would you choose? Now that's the choice Emma Coronel had to make, and you would be surprised at what she chose. You may know Joaquin Guzman as El Chapo, the greatest drug lord of the Sinaloa Cartel, the man who had the fates of many people in his hands. But did you know that there was someone who had El Chapo's fate in her hand? Yes, it was Emma Coronel Aispuro, El Chapo's wife, a pregnant girl turned drug queen. We often attribute all the success of a man to only him, but that's never the case. Emma Aispuro played a vital role in the grand working of El Chapo's deadly network. Keep watching to find out how. Emma Coronel Aispuro was the daughter of El Chapo's close associate, Inez Coronel Barreras, a former high-ranking drug lord of the Sinaloa drug cartel. She was also the niece of the well-known El Nacho, or Ignacio Coronel Villarreal, one of Mexico's most dangerous men who was shot straight in the head in the Jalisco Army shootout of 2010. Despite her father's and uncle's rather shady activities, Emma was a normal young teen with a love for pageants. The last thing you want to happen at your beauty pageant is a drug lord crashing it. But that's exactly what happened to Emma when El Chapo himself, 32 years older than Emma, came to see her at the 2007 Coffee and Guava Festival beauty pageant in Canelas, Durango, Mexico. A strange love story began that day, when El Chapo, 57 at the time, and Emma Coronel, just 18 at the time, fell madly in love and decided that they would get married. It wasn't a surprise that the young girl was smitten by the charisma and power of the 50-year-old ultra-rich drug lord. The two married on her 18th birthday and had twin daughters. Emma became the fourth wife of the god of the Sinaloa drug cartel in 2007. She was now Mrs. El Chapo, and the world danced on her fingertips. But that glory was short-lived. There are some perks of being married to the most wanted man in Mexico, and then there are some downsides too. Let's just say Emma got the wrong end of the thread and landed in hot waters. More on that later. The couple had some happy moments amidst the running and drug trading. In the summer of 2011, Coronel went to Lancaster, California to give birth to twin girls at Antelope Valley Hospital. Her drug lord husband's name could not be put up on the girls' birth certificates because he was one of the most wanted men in both US and Mexico at the time. The new dad had a bounty of $5 million for his head and could naturally not come to see his own children being born. Out of the 11 known children of El Chapo, the twin girls were the last and saw perhaps the least of their father. Running a billion-dollar empire doesn't come easy, and you need all hands on board. The new drug queen took up all the wifely duties of the drug king. Soon, Emma Coronel began assisting her drug lord husband in his management of the Sinaloa Cartel. Life has a way of making us regret our decision, and that came pretty soon for Emma, who was sentenced to 3 years in prison for assisting and helping run her husband's drug empire with him. Later, when he was all caught up in the drug drama of 2014 and arrested immediately, someone had to take up the empty throne. Taking up her role as acting drug lord, Emma Coronel helped make some really important financial transactions for her husband in the Sinaloa Cartel. But things got really deep when Emma Coronel assisted El Chapo with the greatest escape in Mexican high-security prison history. El Chapo's tunnel escape from the Altiplano prison is the stuff of legends. El Chapo was arrested to face charges of trafficking cocaine, heroin, and other drugs during his reign as Mexico's greatest drug lord of the Sinaloa Cartel, and he managed to have a mile-long tunnel dug up for his dramatic escape. Now, who was the helping hand on the outside of the Altiplano prison to have El Chapo's wishes granted? His dearest wife, Emma Coronel. Leaving her pageant days behind her, Emma Coronel also began helping her father out with the Sinaloa drug cartel dealings. Soon, she became a well-known cartel queen with excellent decision-making skills and some amazing risk-taking tactics that paid off well. Her newfound role soon caught up to her when she was convicted for assisting her husband in his drug-related dealings. A BlackBerry phone was confiscated with some really important evidence to lead to Emma Coronel's role in El Chapo's bloody empire. She had been tricking the Mexican officials for some time, like her 2012 Cabo San Lucas escape. She was out vacationing with her husband when the police and authorities caught up to them, and the two evaded an arrest at the resort cleverly. During one of El Chapo's hearings, the chief of staff Damaso Lopez accused Emma Coronel had assisted El Chapo with his grand escape earlier. In 2016, when El Chapo was taken into police custody again, according to Lopez, Emma Coronel bribed many officials to get her husband back out. It did not work out in her favor because even before the corrupt officials could take the bribes, El Chapo was extradited to the United States for one of his biggest trials. He was given a life sentence, and the rest of his life was going to be spent behind bars. Emma was arrested for her drug-related activities at Dulles International Airport on February 22, 2021, when she was stopped before her flight and an FBI arrest warrant was shown. The warrant had been issued on the evidence that she had a major role to play in the Sinaloa drug cartel's activities. Sometimes when the ship is sinking, there's no way to save it, but you can take a lifeboat and walk out of the disaster. Maybe that was what Emma thought was best to do. Emma may be El Chapo's wife, but she wasn't just going to sit around and rot in prison, so she struck up the deal of a lifetime. She agreed to shake hands with the FBI for maximum concession for her own sentence. A deal of $1.5 billion was struck between the drug queen and the FBI. Out of all the money El Chapo had amassed over the years, this was perhaps the best use of it. Emma Coronel put out all the financial assets to help save herself. What use is all that money if she was in prison anyway? She made a dramatic confession and spilled the tea for the FBI. She also came clean about a lot of other things. She admitted to illegally trafficking about 450 kilograms of cocaine to the US under her husband's drug cartel. That's not all. There was also 90 kilograms of heroin and a whopping 90,000 kilograms of marijuana to add to her previous criminal activities. Emma's case was taken up by Jeffrey Lichtman, who pleaded to the court that she was just a minor when she entered the horrible world of drug cartels, and she could not be blamed. Famously leaked court documents stated that Coronel only pleaded for her own case and did not do her wifely duty of trying to save El Chapo as well. There was much controversy, but Coronel's lawyer denied the allegations. It was deemed later on that Emma Coronel was caught up in the large network of the Sinaloa drug cartel and was not directly operating it on her own. It was found that she was not as involved as her drug lord husband. Her sentence was lighter than many who were convicted. It was also stated that since her twin girl's father was already on a life sentence, the girls might not have a close relative out of prison to take care of them. The jury was taken in by the plight of the little girls, and it worked in Emma's favor. So what do you think? Was Emma just a minor who was smitten with a powerful man and taken into the horrible folds of drug trade? Or was she a criminal mastermind who used her age and youthfulness at the time to get out of a huge prison sentence? Whatever the cause might be, Emma Coronel remains one of the most highlighted and dauntless of all drug lord wives. She did what she could in whatever conditions, and she stuck it out to the very end for the life she had chosen. Tell us in the comments what you think, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more thrilling content ahead.